Good evening, distinguished Toastmasters, honored guests, and dear friends. Welcome to Zumaridi meeting 123. My name is Evan Sudima, and I have the honor of serving as the Sergeant at Arms and acting presiding officer of this beautiful evening. Zumaridi Toastmasters Club was chartered in November 2020 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic as a corporate club under Kenya Revenue Authority. Since then, the club has blossomed into a vibrant community of communicators and leaders from different walks of life. The word Zumaridi means emerald, a precious gem that symbolizes growth, brilliance, and transformation. Tonight's meeting theme is easy as 1, 2, 3. And appropriately, our word of the day is triad, meaning a group or a set of 3 connected things. We do encourage you to use word of the day throughout the meeting. Toastmasters itself is built on a powerful triad: communication, leadership, and support. Before we officially begin, kindly allow me to share a few housekeeping notes. Kindly keep your microphones muted unless called upon to speak, of course. We encourage members and guests to keep the cameras on where possible to enhance engagement and fellowship. Kindly do rename yourselves using the following format. If you're a role taker, hashtag role _name_club. We also encourage all role takers to use the official Zumaridi virtual background shared earlier for cohesive and professional experience. At Zumaridi, we believe growth happens through another important field: participation, practice, and persistence. Whether you're speaking tonight, evaluating, taking a role, or simply observing, you are already taking a step toward becoming a more confident communicator and a leader. To officially commence tonight's meeting, I invite us to rise where possible, of course, for the Toastmasters invocation and pledge. Our mission as Toastmasters is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. I do pledge to provide a supportive and positive learning environment for all members, to help fellow members develop communication and leadership skills, and to uphold the values and standards of Toastmasters International. Tonight's meeting promises to be educational, transformational, and undoubtedly epic. Our Toastmaster of the day this evening is none other than distinguished Toastmasters, Dr. Kevin Rubia. Please allow me to introduce this remarkable leader using a simple but powerful triad: professional excellence, communication growth, human connection. Dr. Kevin Rubia is a medical doctor turned clinical psychologist, a journey that reflects both intellectual depth and a passion for understanding people. He joined Toastmasters 6 years ago to explore the world of public speaking, and over the years, he has grown into an exceptional communicator and a leader within Toastmasters fraternity. One of the biggest lessons in Toastmasters has been you cannot please everybody. A simple but liberating truth that reminds us both to focus on growth, authenticity, and impact. Currently, is focusing on mastering the art of simplicity, learning how to keep things clear, intentional, and effective. Outside Toastmasters, Dr. Kevin enjoys going on walks, playing board games, and making new friends. A wonderful trio that reflects balance, strategy, and connection. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, our TMOD is not just an experienced Toastmaster. He is also a champion. Recently, at the prestigious TEACON 2026 conference held in Kigali, or Kigali as the Rwandese call it, Dr. Kevin Rubia emerged as the winner of the evaluation contest, a remarkable achievement that speaks volumes about his mastery of listening, analysis, and impactful communication. Let us give him another round of applause for flying the Toastmasters flag high at the regional stage. Tonight, under the theme, easy as 1, 2, 3. He promises to share with us 3 simple steps to living from our strengths. And perhaps that is the ultimate triad for growth. Knowing our strengths, using our strengths, and living your strengths. Now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, please help me to warmly welcome an outstanding leader, an evaluator, a communicator, and a champion, distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Kevin Rubia. Mr. TMOD.
Much obliged, our presiding officer and sergeant at arms of the club. I wish everyone had you in their handbag or their wallet to introduce them whenever they entered a room. I feel much at home and much appreciated. Welcome, friends, to Zumaridi Toastmasters Club online meeting number 1, 2, 3. Our theme today is easy as 1, 2, 3. Life is already hard enough. And to make it easier, we need to learn to live from our strengths. Do you know your strengths? In this meeting, you're going to learn 3 ways of how you can learn about your strengths and use them to your advantage to make life easier. Before we get into that, however, I'd like to introduce you to the 3 segments, the triad, of a Toastmasters meeting. The first is the prepared speeches section rather, where Toastmasters take time to prepare a speech based on their chosen path. The paths are based on the Pathways Learning Experience, the educational program of Toastmasters International. Secondly is the evaluation section. Here, the Toastmasters get feedback from what they have delivered. Last and not least is the report section. Here, we'll also get to hear from our timer, accountant, grammarian, and general evaluator on what we did well and what we can improve. This meeting is also special in that we'll have a tip session to learn how you and I can grow beyond our club. Let's begin the journey. I'll first start by introducing the functionaries that have made this meeting possible, starting with our accountant, Nancy Acheng. She's the Vice President Public Relations of Zumaridi and enjoys watching movies and documentaries. Over to you, Nancy, to introduce your role.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, my role is a triad. It's divided into 3. My first role as an accountant is to take note of words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers, and also to listen keenly for filler sounds. Now, filler sounds are words like My second role as an accountant is to listen to overused words. Now, overused words will include and, well, so, I'll also take note of when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase. And at the end of the meeting, when called upon, I'll give my report. Back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Thank you, Nancy. Let us all remember to pause so that we do not fall victim and end up on Nancy's report. Next is our club treasurer, Sophia Wangui, who is our grammarian today. She constantly craves being a better person, better version of herself. Life feels lighter when we live from our strengths. Her response to what do you constantly crave doing is, as I had said, she craves being a better version of herself. Over to you, Sophia, to introduce your role.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a grammarian for tonight, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words. Quotes, saying, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my job today is triad of three related people, or the R, I for ink, A, and D. I have shared it in the chat. An example of the word usage in sentences is 1. A classic triad of the visual arts: sculpture, architect, and painting. Another example, in today's meeting, the tag team forms a triad of the A counter, the grammarian, and the timer. Another example, a nuclear family is made up of a triad of the mother, father, and children. And the last example, another example is 20% of the students in Kenya did not meet the passmark in the core triad of subjects, mathematics, English, and Kiswahili, to qualify for science-themed courses at the university. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian report when called upon during the meeting, and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Sophia, for sharing the word of the day and your role today. Whenever a speaker like Sophia exits a stage or comes to the stage like the timer who I'll call next, let's remember to clap for them. A triad of 3 hearty claps could do. 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic. Our timer today took the role last minute. Thank you so much, Brenda Kakai, for taking this up. Over to you to introduce your role.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the day. As the timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, the formal, apologies, there will be no table topics. I will time the formal speeches, the evaluations, and the tip session. I'll also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards that will appear in my background. For the prepared speeches, today we have speeches that are 5 to 7 minutes long. So at the 5-minute mark, you will see the green card. At the 6-minute mark, you'll see the yellow card. And at the 7-minute mark, you'll see the red card. You have 30 seconds to wind up your speech. We have an 18 to 22-minute speech today. At the 18-minute mark, you'll see the green card. At the 20-minute mark, the yellow card. And at the 22-minute mark, the red card. For our tip session facilitator, it is 10 to 15 minutes long. At the 10-minute mark, you'll see the green card. At the 12-minute, 30-second mark, you'll see the yellow card. And at the 15-minute mark, you'll see the red card. All our speakers are reminded you have 30 seconds after the red card goes up. For our evaluators, as you deliver your evaluation speeches, at the 2-minute mark, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, the red card. You have 30 seconds to complete the delivery of your speech. As guided today, I will not return at the tail end of the meeting to deliver a report, but I will post the timing report in the chat. Please look out for those. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, our timer, Brenda Kakai. If you are keen, you noticed I asked the tag team this question. What do you constantly crave doing? That gives us insight to our first E in easy as 1, 2, 3. We are learning to live life from our strengths as opposed to our weaknesses. And one way of identifying your strength is what you enjoy most doing. What do you constantly crave doing? Let me know in the chat as we introduce our speakers. Our first speaker today is Jeriah Kwamboka, a member of the club. She will be evaluated by Brenda Atwini. The second E is excellence, and it answers the question, what are you consistently competent at? For Jeriah, she's consistently competent at giving feedback. Brenda, over to you to introduce her.
Thank you, TMOD. Good evening. I'm privileged this evening to introduce the speaker, Jeriah, who is on a presentation mastery pathways, level 2. And the project is about writing a speech with a purpose. The purpose of the project is for her to learn or review the basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. The speech may be humorous or informational or any style as the member chooses. Jeriah, as I've mentioned, as part of your project, I'll look out for a well-organized speech within 5 to 7 minutes and a few basics of a nice or a well-delivered speech. Please welcome with me Jeriah Kwamboka with a speech title, Respect the Language We Speak Without Words. Respect the language we speak without words. Jeriah Kwamboka.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters. Picture this. You're trying to deliver a speech which you have constantly prepared for. However, during your delivery, you notice one thing, that the audience is not truly listening to you. Despite you trying to engage and even cracking a joke here and there, they may even smile and even make a comment. But as you go on, one thing stands out. The audience is distracted. In the recent visit by the President Emmanuel Macron to Kenya, as he was delivering his speech, he was distracted by noise from the crowd, making him to stop and call out for attention. That struck me. Respect. Nationality and politics aside, respect is a language we speak without words. Respect is on how we respond, how we react, and how we disagree. And most importantly, how we treat people who we have nothing to gain from. Allow me to take you down memory lane. As we are growing up in an African setup, children could stand at attention when the teacher was passing by. In fact, even breathing was deemed as a mistake. And for the young lads, they could stand when an old person needed a seat or there was a pregnant woman. However, this has been taken over by the fast-moving world and technology. Nowadays, people are quick to give response. They are quick to criticize, but slow to listen. Respect is no longer there. Respect is not about age, status, or money. It's a triad of how we value dignity and recognize other people. Remember, people will not remember how you made them feel, but on how you treated them. A story is told of a young graduate trainee. As he finished his education and eager to exercise his experience and what he had learned, he landed a job. Of course, at the entry level, we all know, we start at the bottom. His appearance, his tone, and his demeanor was not very appealing to the white-collar job. But nevertheless, he gave his best shot. In that company, they had a project, a technological project. There was a triad of expertise and managers who were trying to push forward a product that could increase their revenue. In the meeting, the intern was only responsible for taking minutes. As usual, we gave them the non-important tasks. He could occasionally give his opinion, but the moment he started talking, he was quickly dismissed. No one really paid attention to him, but he wasn't dampened by that. One day, he took courage and approached one of the managers, giving his ideas and thought process. However, just like other managers, he was just told, go and print these papers, and he was thrown out. The next day, he approached a different manager. This time, he was accorded respect and recognition. The manager was keen to take his notes. And as the norm, the meeting was to take place the following day, and the manager actually floated the ideas of the intern. Only that, he packaged the ideas his own. Your guess is as good as mine. The ideas worked. And while the company took days and nights wasting resources and even money, there was a solution within. But no one noticed because no one valued the intern. He was not of the same status as the well-experienced managers. Lucky for him, this manager recognized and even told the team that the ideas were for the young lad. Fast forward, he was incorporated into the company. Ladies and gentlemen, behind every face, there's a human heart. I want to quote one of the saying from Robert Greene. Speak less and act more, because the tongue has no bones, but it can crush. As you go home tonight, ladies and gentlemen, remember, value and dignity is as important as the roots of a tree. They are never seen, but they hold the tree firm. You don't demand for respect. but you earn the respect. Just as you look at the mirror, respect is reflected by your character. Thank you.
Please join me in celebrating Jeriah for her speech. Respect. Let's be careful to use our words to build rather than to bring down. Thank you all for the applause. Keep them coming as we usher the next speaker to stage. This is none other than Winfred Okoth. She will be evaluated by Eric Wanjohi, and one thing that she is consistently competent at is being helpful. Over to you, Eric, to introduce her speech and objectives today.
Thank you, TMOD. This evening, I'm glad and happy to evaluate our VPM, Vice President Membership, as she enters her journey to evaluation. She is pursuing dynamic leadership. And within this project titled Evaluation and Feedback, she is going to have a triad of 3 speeches. The first speech, which she is delivering today, will be about showcasing how ready she is to receive feedback and apply it. Then, at a later date, she will also either repeat the same speech or do a different speech while applying feedback that I will give today. If that passes, then she will be required to evaluate any member during a club meeting. And once done with the 3 speeches, she will now become an evaluator. Winfred Mwaneki Okoth has a beautiful title today. The speech is The Beautiful Pandemic. Winfred Mwaneki Okoth, The Beautiful Pandemic. The Beautiful Pandemic, Winfred Okoth, over to you.
Toastmasters and guests, pause for a second and ask yourself, is social media a blessing or is it a curse? You can answer me on the chat box. Over and over again, we have complained, we have discussed, and even studied about global warming. But Toastmasters, have you considered or thought to yourself, could this be a global warning? Recently, we have been treated to a global COVID pandemic where the world came together, stuck in this hole of a viral infection that we didn't know the beginning or the end. And this is just a physical presentation of what we've been experiencing over and over again, the social media beautiful pandemic. As you answer me my question on whether social media is a blessing or a curse, I want to bring to you what have been the advantages and the disadvantages of the same, so that you will go home and answer yourself whether to you it has been a blessing or a curse. This beautiful pandemic has given us an opportunity to stay connected. We no longer have to wait for months to have our letters get to our parents, our loved ones through a post office. We feel the connectedness. This weekend only, we celebrated and gone to archives to celebrate Arsenal. We have been connected by social media. Everybody is well up to date with what is happening all across the globe. We have also seen where people raise finances, medical appeal, wedding fundraisers, beautiful send-offs, and many other WhatsApp groups. For that, social media has been the beautiful, the blessing, and not a pandemic. But come to think of it, have you seen the rising of suicide levels? Have you seen how many people have found themselves taking antidepressants? And the cause? Social media. Building from addiction after another, comparison, oh, they bought a new car. I can't even afford bus fare. Have you seen the number of people experiencing insomnia? Because they can't sleep. Their minds have been overstimulated by the social media. Have you seen the disrespect? Oh, that has been served in the social media, calling ourselves the wake generation. Is it still a blessing, Toastmasters and guests? Is it not the same that we have to hide some functions so that our children will not jump off cliffs as they try to become the Spider-Man? Toastmasters and guests, as you have heard already, that social media has brought itself like a pandemic, but we still have so many fruits that we can reap from the same. So Toastmasters, as we use this pandemic, let us use it in the most beautiful way we can. And how do we do it? Let us come together. Use the inbuilt controls that we have. Instead of using it at night when you're supposed to sleep, put it in do not disturb mode or sleep mode. Instead of allowing yourself to become addicted to the same, just go to settings, enable your phone or the device that you have to record how much time you spend and limit yourself. Instead of using it as copycat, use it for your good. Limit yourself. Have the discipline. Do not encourage yourself every time to have shortcuts on your desktop or your phone, because that will make you fall into the trap of pandemic. Toastmasters and guests, beyond the beautiful pandemic. Back to you.
Speeches are also there to help us think, reflect, and provoke action. How are you using social media? Let us know in the chat. And as I respond to to the question that Winfred asked, majority of the people say that social media is both a curse and a blessing. Thank you for your participation. Keep the comments coming. Our third speaker is from Bugolobi Toastmasters Club. She is Sharon Bonabana. When I asked her, what are you consistently competent at? She said, coordination. This is the second E, excellence. What are you consistently competent at? Sharon will be evaluated by Daniel Opuch, who is about to introduce her. Over to you, Daniel.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I am pleased to introduce and evaluate Sharon Bonabana. Sharon is a commercial contracts manager with Hawaii. She does project management. She tracks financial projects and monitors their compliance. In her spare time, she does reading, writing, and taking notes. And as a few of us may, she is also a foodie. She aspires to build a consultancy firm that will support small businesses to scale into multinational level. Tonight, the purpose of her speech, which is from level 1, project 2, writing a speech with a purpose, is to show why it is important to seize opportunities as soon as they come. She has asked me to look out for the basic structure of a speech, that is having an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And her title for the speech tonight is Strike While the Iron is Hot. Sharon Bonabana, strike while the iron is hot.
Thank you, my evaluator. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Strike while the iron is hot. Easier said than done, and not easy as we. This means that we have to seize the opportunity while we can, because that particular event or that particular idea could be your saving grace for impending doom that you may not see. But why do people fear striking the iron while it's hot? Why do we fear taking opportunity still can? Sometimes it stems from human beings fearing change, fearing to transition, or fearing that they are going to disrupt their routine. And this happened to me because at one point in my career journey, I worked for a startup company, a small business, I may say. And what interested me about that particular company is because I was a powerhouse. I was sort of like a pseudo CEO that gave me power, that helped me feel relevant and even indispensable to the company. I did a triad of 3 business functions. I was doing human resource, I was doing marketing, I was also doing some sales. Those 3 functions, I could say not basically sales, but I was also doing finance. So it may not even have been a triad. I was basically a jack of all trades in that small business. This gave me some sort of power. When it came to human resource, I would look through contracts of everyone who worked for the company. So imagine if you're the kind of person who was given such power and authority. It would give you visibility over what everyone earned. I also used to do finance tasks. That see the company's cash flows and the company's inflows. That is also power because it helps you see the stability of the company. It gives you insider information that nobody has in the company. I also used to do marketing for that company, whereby I would monitor media pages for that small business. Ladies and gentlemen, this put me in the comfort zone because my CEO trusted me. My team members also would come to me to solve any operational crisis in the business. That made me become so comfortable where I was. It was my utopia. I had built a world. I didn't want to shift. I didn't want to transition to any other job. In fact, I used not to apply for jobs when I was in that company because it was not toxic. My teammates were very cooperative. I was familiar with the culture of the organization. I knew I was indispensable. I mean, I was the pseudo CEO or the deputy CEO. Then something happened, an opportunity presented itself. What happened is I was headhunted for a position in a multinational organization where I am working right now. And I didn't want to take up this opportunity. I feared to move from my small kingdom. You can imagine. How would you tell a queen who had already made her kingdom in this small company to move into a bigger kingdom where I was not going to be a queen, but matter of fact, a pawn? I didn't want to take up that job. If I interview, I raised the bar so high. I asked for a higher salary. I asked for terms and conditions, knowing very well they will not give me the job. But I was surprised. They called me afterwards. But then I figured, how was I going to deal with a culture that I'm not familiar with? This is an Asian company. The culture is different. The work ethics and values are different. It's like working in a foreign nation. I was not willing to strike this iron. I sat back, and in fact, I told them, give me a month to think about the opportunity. The iron. But then when I shared with my family, they told me, why do you want to stay where you are because it's comfortable? There is no growth. I did not want to leave my small kingdom. My family nudged me to take up this opportunity. And hesitantly, I took it up, ladies and gentlemen. What happened? 8 months into this current job where I'm working, I got news of a bankruptcy happening at my old company. So you can imagine, if I did not strike that iron, I would be facing unemployment. And with the unemployment crisis in our nation, it's not easy to find or come by jobs. So this gave me an insight when I was reflecting back on what had happened. And I realized that if an opportunity presents itself, seize it, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. It could be your saving grace crisis that is going to happen. And even more still, I didn't know that I would be progressing. Sometimes the opportunities are your stepping stone towards where you want to go or towards your goals. So I leave you with this question. What is that iron in your life that you're not striking? Could it be a business? You may be an entrepreneur and you don't want to take it up? Could it be that you want to relocate to another nation? Could it be even a relationship, a romantic, a business, or in any case, any other venture that you fear taking up? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, please strike the iron it's still hot because you'll be glad you did. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Friends, let us appreciate Sharon in the same fashion that we did. You can even turn on your videos, by the way. It provides a safe environment for speakers like Sharon to practice their skills. She has reminded us to strike while the iron is hot. And that could be looking at 2 E's: 1, enjoyment, and 2, excellence. Those things that you constantly crave doing or are consistently competent at could be where your strengths lie, and you may be missing on that opportunity to make your life more fulfilling, more pleasurable, or more financially rewarding. Our last speaker is our area director, Rose Odundo, who will be evaluated by her impromptu evaluator, George Gidesha Maura. Over to George to introduce her speech and objectives.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This evening, it's my pleasure to evaluate Rose Odundo, who has been described as an area director 1 for area 1 in division A. She considers herself a servant leader, and she is currently finishing the second pathway. Now, in a marathon, which is a journey, you normally start with shorter distances. And then as you grow, you take longer distances to test your endurance. Rose has been taking the shorter speeches, which are 5 to 7 minutes. Today, she will be delivering one speech that will serve as a 2-in-1 presentation from her Presentation Mastery Level 5 Project 1, which is preparing to speak professionally. And since it is going to act as two projects speech, the first part is preparing to speak professionally, and then the second is from a series of successful club series, which is to evaluate, to motivate evaluation. Help me welcome Rose Odundo. The title of the speech is The Silence After the Applause. The Silence After the Applause, Rose Odundo. Rose Odundo, The Silence After the Applause.
Have you ever received applause, but still wondered if you truly improved? The silence after the applause. As we look at this topic of evaluate to motivate, we will learn how to deliver evaluations effectively, encourage growth through feedback, and build confidence while improving performance. By a show of emoji hands, how many of you have been evaluated after a speech which you thought was really good and you felt offended? By a show of emoji hands? Oh, yes, John, I can see you laughing there. You're not alone. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, speakers. I felt the same. Thank you, Andrew. I thought I had spoken so well. And after the speech, oh my, from the evaluation, the young generation call it, I caught feelings. I was offended. I was hurt. I believe a few of us can identify with that. And today we'll explore how evaluation transforms speakers, why feedback matters after the applause, and how evaluators can motivate and not discourage. Again, can we give a round of applause to Dr. Kevin Rubia, who won the evaluation contest at TEACON in Rwanda. I was to witness it and to say thank you to him. And we all hugged him. Thank God he came back in one piece. But we learned a lot from him. And that will form part of what I'll talk about today. And as we deliver our speeches, it reminds me of the moment it all began for me. I gave my icebreaker speech, and my title was Rose, a Woman Worth Knowing. And I spoke so well, and I got applause and a standing ovation. I was prepared. I was confident. The applause came, but then came something different. Silence. Following silence came the evaluation, and I had 3 evaluators, not 1, not 2, but 3 evaluators. You can guess which club that is. And I know that one of the club members from EXCO are there listening, and they know which club it is. And I was overwhelmed. I'm new. It's my first speech. And here I have 3 evaluators. And my speech evaluator just said, good speech, Rose. Keep it up. But inside, I asked myself, so how do I improve? I know I was good, but how do I improve? And that moment taught me that applause is not growth, and silence is where growth begins. We do not improve what we do not know or what we do not recognize. And I came to realize that the evaluation benefits the speakers when you give immediate feedback. It's a little like those who have children at home or when you are growing up, you are probably spanked by your parent for misbehaving. If the spank had not come immediately, you may not understand why you're being beaten if it's 2 weeks later. Immediate feedback is very helpful. Another benefit is that feedback offers methods for improvement if it is done well and if it is done constructively in the sandwich method, as is recommended by Toastmasters. You give the positive feedback, you say which area the speaker can improve, and at the end, you summarize it and give them a challenge. What do they take home after your evaluation? You need to build and maintain self-esteem. I've told you of my first evaluator who said good speech. My second evaluator spoke more of the content and told me, Rose, you had a wonderful speech, but you could have made the flow a little better. They also mentioned a little bit about the structure, which was not too bad, but they gave me more detail as to what I could have done better. And I came out of there knowing that I have to work on the flow. I have to work on the structure. I really wish they had told me something about vocal variety, making it interesting, getting the attention of the audience, and more importantly, knowing that I'm speaking to the audience and not to myself. You needed to know that Rose is a woman worth knowing. Time will fail me to give that detail here, but if you see me after the meeting, I can take you through it. When the evaluator talks, the speaker needs to listen attentively. Don't listen to speak back, but listen to absorb the points that we need to improve. And when we listen, we get value in the evaluation. What about the evaluator? How can they be more effective? And this is by them preparing before the speech, during the speech, and after the speech. And before the speech, the evaluator needs to speak to the speaker and understand the objectives of the speech. They need to understand if there's any area that the speaker will want amplified and what they'd like the evaluator to look out for. They also need to look at the evaluation guidelines. What is it that they are actually evaluating? And if there are any concerns, this needs to be highlighted. And during the speech, the evaluator needs to show interest in the speech. How many of you have spoken and you felt like the evaluator themselves were even bored? Can you put up hand emojis? Oh, you're being very polite to the evaluators. You need to put yourself in the position of the speaker as an evaluator, and you need to take notes. So even if you're not writing anything useful, come with a pad, a writing pad, and something to write on. And then choose your words carefully. The first time I evaluated, I did not choose my words carefully. And it caused me a relationship. So let's choose our words carefully. As we evaluate, let's evaluate the speech and not the person. And this goes especially if you're invited to be a judge at a contest. Don't evaluate the person, evaluate the speech. And promote self-esteem. Rose, a woman worth knowing. The second evaluator, my content evaluator, and especially my delivery evaluator, made me realize that indeed, Rose, you are a woman worth knowing. We could get it from your speech, from the beginning to the end. And that promoted my self-esteem. And it helped. Be careful of the words that you used. You can say, I noticed. My reaction was this, or I suggest that you could change in this. Don't be so direct. Have a triad. What I saw, what I heard, and what I felt. Let's have a balance. Don't be too harsh. We're not in the military. Harshness discourages. They may never come back. And by the way, it reminds me of a member we had. Beautiful. She's so good. She's actually a manager. And she gave a speech and disappeared. So I looked for her. And when I found her, I got her to come back and do another speech. And in fact, she even repeated her speech in order to improve. But she told me, Rose, the reason I went is because I felt that the evaluator was so harsh on me. And I felt I had not done well. And I didn't want that embarrassment. And I guess that's a problem of corporate clubs at times. But it also has to do with the individual. Are you willing to grow beyond any obstruction? She has never come back. I will look for her again. And I will request the presiding officer to do the same and the VPM. Don't be too soft because there will be no growth. Rose, that was a good speech. It would make you feel good, but as a matter of fact, it doesn't grow you. A true evaluation has clarity, honesty, and encouragement. And oftentimes, we repeat what Ken Blanchard says, that feedback is the breakfast of, can you all complete that sentence?
Champions.
Champions. Once again, feedback is the breakfast of?
Champions.
And that is only if it's given in a constructive manner and in a manner that will assist. Avoid being disingenuous. we need honest evaluations, which are encouraging and they offer improvement. I really appreciated that club where they have 3 evaluators. And there's another club, international, that do something similar. In fact, evaluated by almost the whole group. And this helps a lot because it helps you grow. It helps you understand where exactly you need to improve. And especially if it's done in a positive, friendly environment. It's like beating somebody and then you massage them and buy them a gift. And I find that one evaluator told me, as I mentioned, that my message was good and strong, but my structure needed clarity. That now was in level 1, speech 1 and 2. And it helped me to build up as I moved along. And I found that evaluations actually build the speakers if it's done well. It transforms us into leaders because you can take feedback and you can give feedback. You can say, I am sorry as a leader. You don't have all the answers. It helps us to be better communicators. And what gets evaluated, it does get elevated. How many of you are in senior positions where you are at work? Or even in your home? You have a senior position, a mother, father, a child, a firstborn. By a show of hands. Emoji hands? Any leaders in the room? Any leaders in the room? How many of us grew? Thank you so much, Sharon. How many of us grew through feedback? It could have been a parent feedback through spanking or any other feedback, but feedback elevated you to where you are now and you learned the hard way or the easy way. I would like to close by reminding us that we need to evaluate to motivate. And in summary, we would say 1 point is be clear. Be clear, not vague. Be clear. Rose, you had a good speech. That was not very clear. Rose, you needed more structure. That was clearer. Rose, you needed to improve your transitions. That was clearer. Rose, you needed to engage the audience. That was clearer. Be honest. I may have felt hurt, character development, but I appreciated honesty. And it helped me to become more of a woman worth knowing, to the point that I've been invited to a woman caucus meeting happening in 2 days where we have the First Lady in attendance. Is that not a woman worth knowing? Talk to me after this meeting and I may be able to get you a card. Be honest and be encouraging. Be clear, be honest, and be encouraging. Great speakers are not created by applause. They are created by feedback that happens in the silence after it. You can ask Dr. DTM Kevin Rubia, and he will let you know that feedback happens in the silence after it. I will give this opportunity for us to interact a little more as we get to the end of my presentation. And I would like to get comments and feedback. If anybody has a comment or feedback from the speech, can you kindly raise your hand or unmute and give your comment kindly? And if there's no comment, I'll realize nobody was listening. Can we have a quick 1 or 2? I don't see any hands going up. I don't see anybody unmuting. One, two. All right. Based on that, I will take it that it was very clear. My presentation was very honest, and it was very encouraging. Thank you very much for being here with me. And I would appreciate an applause. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Let us give her the applause so that she can feel appreciated. Most importantly, because she has shown us the true value of evaluations, that is, to elevate us as speakers. Thank you, Area Director, for that speech. Let us now proceed to vote for our best speaker among the four ladies. First, we had a triad of 5 to 7 minute speeches, followed by Rose Odundo's Prepare to Speak Professionally project. As you vote, a reminder is that we are trying to make life easy as life is hard enough. To make life easy, we can live on our strengths. We can draw from our strengths. And how do we identify these strengths? 3 E's. The first E, can someone remind me by unmuting?
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. Thank you. I think that was Sharon. Enjoyment. What do you constantly crave doing? This could provide a strength or at least a hobby that can help you live life to the full. The second E that we are currently tackling is, anyone to unmute?
Excellence.
Excellence. Fantastic. What are you consistently competent at? That can provide vigor and vim in your life. Thank you, Anne. I also see excellence in the chat, and Brenda Kakai has posted the timers report. Great. We will now go into another speech, but this time it is a tip session delivered by Kezabu Maureen, Club Secretary of Bugolobi Toastmasters Club. The title of our tip session is Going Beyond Our Club. To close on the excellence part of our 3 E's, she is constantly competent at mentoring graduate accountants towards professional competence. I hope she's making money out of that. Over to you, Kezabu, to deliver your tip session. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I would like to ask a small question to anyone on the call or anyone in the meeting. When you joined Toastmasters and got assigned to a club, has any one of you, by show of hands, tried to look out for any other opportunities? Could either be leadership or any other roles in which they can grow outside their club? Anyone? I don't see hands. Yes, I've seen Sharon. You could unmute and share with us an opportunity that you've participated in outside your club.
Thank you so much. I've been in Kampala Toastmasters Club. I've taken up the role of a timer. I think that's the only role I have done outside Bugolobi Toastmasters Club.
Do you mind sharing your experience? Anything you found different from your home club?
What I really found different is number one, I wasn't so familiar people or the speakers, which is different from Ugolobi Toastmasters, because when I take up roles in Toastmasters, I'm familiar with the speakers, so it's easy to follow up. When you're taking a role outside of your initial club, it feels like you're away from home. The timer's role, it also helped me challenge myself to work in environments I'm not familiar with, or to evaluate speakers on time management, even though I didn't know them so well. And also, I'm participating right now in Zumaridi Toastmasters Club, because again, unfamiliar environment. And yes, I feel it's an opportunity for me to grow and be comfortable in new places. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for your participation. I'll give you a short story. When I joined Toastmasters in August 2025, I was very curious, and I have this longing within me to improve myself in various ways. I took on the pathways, but I was always on the lookout for anything that can help me improve. And when I was going through my pathways and landed on this particular segment, I said, yes, this is it. Why not inform the rest of the Toastmasters in other clubs, or even in my club, to try this out and even grow better? Well, my speech today, or my presentation today, is about going beyond your club, going beyond Zumaridi or Ugolobi. I'll start with highlighting the importance of going beyond your club. One, to the Toastmaster themselves, that is the member. When you participate in something or in any role outside your club, you get to experience different opportunities that the world is presenting to you. As you as an individual are growing, you also help your club to actually be better in various ways, hence giving your club an opportunity to become distinguished, or to even become something more than distinguished. What are some of the roles that are presented to someone who has an open mind of going outside the club? One, you could choose to be a speaker, and these roles could be either in-house or outside your club. But these, in the Toastmasters classification, these particular roles are presented here, are considered internal, that is within your club. One is being a speaker. Two, choosing to take up a meeting role in any of the clubs in the world where you can be present. The third, being a club officer. This is usually internal within your club. Then being on the committee. But how about my focus tonight? That is outside your club. Some of the roles presented that you can present yourself in or participate in could be in terms of participating in a speech contest. Being in a speech contest will start internally within your club, and then you will grow to participate outside your club. Some of the major importances of you being present in a speech contest, not just by your presence, but actively engaging in a speech contest. One, it helps you grow your critical thinking skills, time management, listening, and even networking. So when we look at speech contests, they are classified, like I explained. You will start from within your club, then you will grow from the club, you grow now to an area. From an area, you grow to a division. Then from the division to the district. Then later on, you participate in the international convention, which is usually held in August of every year. So last year, we had contests, club contests, which later on were transformed into the division, then area. So what are the roles that you can actively participate in? One being a contestant, which has its advantages. It will help because to participate in any contest, you have to adopt the spirit of competition. You will have to prepare so that you win. Otherwise, you will feel embarrassed. So participating in a contest as a contestant will not only help you improve as a speaker, but it will also help you know the hierarchy within Toastmasters. The other role you can take up is being an MC at the contests. This will help you improve your stage management and also help you to learn how to moderate, carry on events in a sequential way. The other role you can take up is being a contest judge. This is very critical. You have to have the highest level of confidentiality because at a contest, the judges are not known. They get to be known afterwards. So you have to be able to keep quiet about your role, be able to follow the script when you're judging. Like the previous speaker said, you need to follow particular guidelines when you're judging the participant. Then being a counter, you can also take up roles like a timer, the sergeant at arms. This one is one thing that will open up your mind as well. If you've been struggling with welcoming people, getting them ready under a pressure environment, this is one role you can take up. Or let's say a speaker is in panic, but you need to encourage them to go to the stage, take up the sergeant at arms role. Then, if you're not comfortable standing out, you could present yourself, be present. At a speech contest, you will be amused at how much you will learn by simply listening to the speakers. You know, learning is in different ways. You can learn by participating or learn by listening. Especially when it comes to evaluations, you will pick a lot from just listening to the evaluators. So apart from the roles, what are the leadership opportunities that Toastmasters presents to you? You can choose to be a leader at the area. We have roles like the area director. Then at the division level, you can choose to be a division officer. At the district level, currently there was an advert for district finance managers. Did you participate? Did you nominate yourself? Well, the interviews are soon. You can also participate in organizing conferences. Imagine the fulfillment you will get from having a successful conference. Yes? Ask yourself, in all these things, what can I do? Apart from being a member of Bogolovi Toastmasters Club or being a member of Zumaridi Toastmasters Club, what else can I do to make my club better? Toastmasters and guests on the call, I call upon each and every one of us here. If you've not sought out any opportunity outside your club, please, please, please be on the look. Participate in this leadership and these leadership roles and make yourself active. Great clubs grow leaders who go beyond the room. Remember, outside the room, you'll be stretched beyond your comfort level. The question is will anyone listening to me today, at least tomorrow, take up something, take up a role. When you hear there's a conference, be present. When you hear there's a competition, go and participate. And together, we shall grow beyond the rooms. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Great clubs grow leaders who go beyond the room. May we go beyond this meeting room today, thanks to our tip master, Kesabu. Thank you so much for that pertinent tip session. Please give your comments in the chat, friends, on what you are now motivated to do after listening to Toastmaster Kesabu. As you do that, let us stretch a bit. She's encouraged us to stretch beyond the club. Let us stretch beyond, try to touch the person who's next to you on the screen, left and right. If there is no one next to you, you can stretch up or down depending. Fantastic. This is our table topic session where we learn to stretch ourselves beyond public speaking into physical exercise. But in real sense, table topics, for those who are new, is not about stretching, it's about impromptu speaking, which we won't have today because we have so many speeches. Thank you for indulging me. Let's continue. We are now going into our evaluation session, which is the second part of the triad that I had talked about earlier. One being the prepared speeches and two, the evaluation. To kick us off is none other than Toastmaster Brenda Atwine, Club President of Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters Club. This evaluation session takes us to the third E, which is evidence. What are you continually complimented on? What are you continually complimented on? For Brenda, she is complimented on her audible and strong voice. Let's listen to that audible and strong voice as she evaluates Jeriah Kwamboka.
Thank you, TMOD. I'll wait for an evaluator after this session. All right, let's appreciate our speaker, Jeriah Kwamboka, whose speech purpose was to provide a speech with a purpose, and the speech had to be well organized. Congratulations, Jeriah, for achieving those two aspects of your speech. Well done. Your speech was well organized. It had an introduction, body, and a conclusion. There was a logical flow of your ideas, and the message was very loud and clear. Respect. Respect is a language. Each point was well explained. You had some examples and a brief story, and you also gave us a good conclusion with a call to action. Don't demand for respect. Those were some of the phrases you used as you were concluding. Your speech had definitely a purpose, and the message was central to or well aligned to your topic. Then, I also loved the delivery with a triad of words. For example, you mentioned respect isn't about status, isn't about money, isn't about age. Well done on that. Here are some areas of improvements that could enhance your speech to becoming even better. One, at the start of your speech, I noticed you started with good evening. I would recommend that you start your speech with a strong statement or question, and then you pause. Because I missed out that statement you mentioned, which would have been a very good hook to get the audience's attention. Secondly, I noticed that your video was blurry and it was difficult to see you very clearly. Just know that video presentation is very key because it enhances or reduces the effectiveness. The blurry of your video reduces the effectiveness of your speech. I also felt that your speech was rushed through right from the start to the end, yet you had moments to pause. Because when you rush through a speech, we miss some of the key points and ideas. In addition to that, I noticed that the timer raised the green card at 5 minutes when you are actually concluding. So you still had 2 more minutes to conclude your speech. So always incorporating those pauses. Overall, congratulations on delivering a well-organized speech with a purpose and with a strong triad of words. With more pauses incorporated in your speeches, starting with a strong hook, I look forward to more inspiring and engaging speeches from you. Congratulations, well done. Over.
Congratulations and well done on that audible and strong voice, Brenda Atwine. Wanjohi is next, and he will evaluate Toastmaster Winfred Mwaniki Okoth. Her name is also a triad. Eric Wanjohi is continually complimented on his results orientation and good performance. Let us see that results orientation and good performance in his evaluation.
Social media, is it a blessing or a curse? That's the question you posed to us, Winfred. And you took us way back 6 years to the pandemic that we had, and a pandemic that we all never want to experience again. The speech is part of a triad of speeches where you are supposed to do one speech, get evaluated, apply feedback, and then later evaluate a member. There are 4 things. There are 4 things I like about your speech. Number 1, you are able to ask questions, some rhetorical, and that is part of audience engagement. It also opens up for us to be keen on what is being delivered next. Number 2, gestures. Even though you took a sitting position, you are able to apply gestures and express yourself better. Number 3, something I've always liked about your speeches, poses. You have a deliberate use of poses. Then lastly, number 4, call to action. There were so many parts of the speech whereby you called us to action. 3 things, a triad of 3 things that I would like you to apply in your next speech, which will be speech number 2. It will be project 3, part 2. And number 1 is structure. Being very deliberate on the body, the opening, then the body, and the conclusion, and the transition between the 3. I would like you to, in your next speech, to try that. Have a very smooth transition between the 3 and make it very clear when you are introducing and when you enter the body and when you are exiting the stage. You could use that by using words like, as I finish, as I conclude, As you open, you could also use word like, today I'm going to talk about 3 things. Number 2, audience engagement. When you ask a question, pause, let us answer. You could also ask the TMOD or the SAA to read out what you have told us to write on chat, and then we could give us feedback. You could comment on what the audience is saying. So in your next speech, try having specific moments of audience engagement. And to make your speech even better, from excellent to outstanding, on my item number 3, I would want you to use props. Using props makes the speech interesting. And when you are delivering a speech at home, you could come up with anything. You could even come with a toothbrush. You could come with a phone if you are talking about social media. You could come with a calendar. So it's easier when you are doing a virtual speech, come up with a prop and make your speech even better. Back to you, TMOD.
Well done, Eric, especially on your triads. Now it is Daniel Opuch's turn to evaluate Sharon Bonabana's speech. Daniel is continually complimented on his attention to detail and active listening. Over to you, Daniel, to demonstrate this in your evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Sharon, congratulations. Completing level 2, completing your project in presentation mastery is a real milestone. And tonight, you showed us exactly why you belong on this stage. I'll break this into a triad, starting with what you excelled at. I noticed from the very first word, the architecture of your speech was very clear and confident. Your introduction drew the audience in. The body carried us forward with a clear purpose, and conclusion landed within the intention. That triad is the backbone of every great speech, and you've met the objective of this very project. I can also confirm that your story was coherent, alive, and most importantly, it was deeply personal. When you shared your own experience, the room leaned in. That is the power of a speaker who is willing to be real. Your 2 quotes, which I believe stuck with every one of us and is still memorable, includes one where you asked, how was I going to deal with the new culture of the new workplace? This grounded the audience in your vulnerability. And the other was, what is that iron in your life you don't want to strike? This sent a clear challenge to me and everyone else in the audience. That is masterful writing. The second component of my triad for you is where your growth is waiting. And this is a gift you haven't fully unwrapped. Basically looking out for ways to pause and let the message sink in within the audience. You asked questions, and quickly before the audience could respond, you went on to deliver the rest of the speech. When you ask the powerful question, what is the iron in your life? I would have loved to see you pause and let that sink in. with the audience. I want to challenge you going forward. I know the big stage awaits you. Before you leave the stage in your next speech, give your audience one crisp and memorable sentence that would capture the entire message. That final piece will be the message the audience carries home at the end of the meeting. Overall, Sharon, you struck while the iron was hot and it showed. Keep going. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
And Daniel has also struck the iron of that evaluation. As we now move to our next and final evaluator, George Gidesha, to deliver an evaluation on Rose's speech. Over to you, George.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Rose, that was a well-delivered speech and content-rich presentation. I'll go straight to what you did best. First of all, your structure and organization. You had a strong opening. In any speech, the introduction should capture the attention of the audience. And normally you use your voice or body language, which is the enthusiasm that you show when you begin a speech. In that, you can ask a question or use a statement that will draw people in. For instance, what drew me to your presentation is when you said, why feedback motivates the applause. Because most of us think that the applause is the ultimate feedback. But I wanted to know why feedback motivates. So that captured my attention. Also, in your introduction, you used tonal variety. And this is where the voice comes in. Your voice should create a melody like a song. Most people will listen to a song rather to a narration because a song has melody. For example, when you are describing your icebreaker as well as when you are telling us the story about Dr. Kevin Rubia winning the evaluation contest, use some tonal variation there. Like for instance, in icebreaker, you said, I spoke so well. I was prepared. I may not have said it the way she said it, but you get the point. Then in your body, you switched to a more formal tone. And this is where you told us, or your voice told us, that what I'm going to say here is important. So you need to listen and take notes. And also you had a conclusion where you gave a summary as well as you gave people the opportunity to ask questions and give feedback. Secondly, you had audience engagement. When you're doing a longer presentation, there's a likelihood that you're going to lose people away. So you need to have a strategy that is going to keep people engaged. And there are various ways you can do that. And one of the ways I saw you used is you asked us to finish a popular quote by Toastmasters. Then thirdly, your delivery. Your delivery had clear pronunciation, the appropriate volume, because you could be heard. Your speech was laced by vocal variety. Your body movement and gestures, as much as it is an online presentation, you had some of that. Some improve on a recommendation. In a longer speech, you could allow for a break in between so that you can ask for feedback or a question so that you can gauge the audience understanding or if they are following what you are saying. But do not allow it to to go to a full-blown Q&A. And I believe you had enough time for this. In summary, you had a clear structure with a captivating introduction, a body and a conclusion. You had audience engagement and a power delivery of your message. And you can work on that recommendation I have given. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, George, for taking on this role last minute and providing feedback aptly following what Rose Odundo had presented in her presentation. Well done. Friends, let us now vote for our best evaluator among the four. They have demonstrated what Rose talked about: being honest, being specific, being open, and being encouraging. Well done. As you do that, I have shared a summary of the triad that helps you identify your strengths, therefore making life easier. Enjoyment, excellence, and evidence. 3 questions to ask yourself. What do you constantly crave doing? What are you consistently competent at? And what are you continually complimented on? Over to our general evaluator to handle the report session, the last part of our triad. Let's welcome him to the stage.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. You are loud and clear.
Thank you for this opportunity. And as the general evaluator, mine is simple, getting to evaluate the meeting. But before I get to give my report, I have my team. I have my own triad of the tag team, and I'm here to introduce them. Yeah, we have seen the timer. Our next member of my triad team is the accounter, who happens to have been Nancy Acheng. Welcome, Madam Nancy Acheng, and give us a report of how we fared in the use of catchwords.
Thank you so much, Mr. GE. Tonight, I listened closely to every speaker that had an opportunity to speak in this meeting. And I am glad to say I was almost rendered jobless. I am glad to announce that. The presiding officer, Mr. Evans, did not give me any work today. The Toastmaster of the day rendered me jobless. Grammarian Sophia had a repeat of words. She used another example. Another example is, this one often comes with nervousness or realizing you've forgotten something. So maybe, Sophia, you might want to watch out for that. She also used during the evaluator one, Brenda Atwine had one filler sound, A. Speaker one, Jeriah Kwamboka, rendered me jobless. Evaluator 2, Eric Wanjohi, rendered me jobless. Winfred rendered me jobless. Evaluator Toastmaster Daniel rendered me jobless. Speaker number 3, Sharon Bonabana, had crutch words. Basically, and so were her crutch words of the day. Speaker Sharon, you might want to watch out for that. Evaluator number 4, George Maura, had filler sounds A 2 times. So overall, as a group, our most popular filler word tonight was the sound A. And my clarion call will be that being aware of these habits will help us communicate with more clarity. And as my mentor has always told me, learn to replace the nervous pauses with comfortable silences. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Toastmasters and guests, join me in applauding her. She did a splendid job. You all did put her reasoning skills to test, and she has done wonders. Good job, Madam Nancy. On to our next role taker. We had the grammarian, and our grammarian tonight was Madam Sophie. Madam Sophia, kindly take it over and tell us how we use the word of the day and also our use of the English language. Madam Sophia, take it over.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'll use a triad of steps to give my report. 1, the word of the day was used well. Congratulations to all of you. It was used 21 times during the meeting, with the DTM Kevin using it 7 times. Congratulations to all of you. The second part is the list of quotes, thoughts, words, or sayings that I liked. 1, Jelaya said, "People remember how you made them feel, but not what you said." That's a quote by Dr. Maya. Winnie used that. We use our inbuilt controls to mean natural internal controls that we do possess. Another quote was used by Sharon when delivering her speech, where she said, "Strike when the iron is hot," to mean you seize the moment. She also talked about a pseudo COE to mean a fake chief executive officer. Another one was used by DTM Rose Odudo, where she talked about catching feelings, a quote that is commonly used by the Gen Z. Another one is where she used the analogy of spanking a child immediately after an action to indicate that an immediate evaluation feedback is important to a speaker. Besides, she also used a quote at the end where she talked about great speakers are not created by applause, they are created by feedback that happens in silence after it. Besides being good, there are a few areas I would suggest for improvement. 1, when the tip session was being delivered, the speaker talked about asking us a small question. Much as it is grammatically correct, it is more better to ask a brief question, a rhetorical question, a simple question, or a quick question. Another part is where she talked about once you participate in the role of a club contest, you can transform to, she should have said, you can progress to higher levels like division contest. That's my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Sophia. And once again, team, let's applaud her. I mentioned a triad, and to make my triad complete, we have had our timer. She has done a splendid job, and she has been behind the scenes for a better part of the meeting. Madam Brenda, you can unmute and share your screen and maybe comment on something. You can also tell us on whether we are on time and how you found your role tonight. Madam Brenda.
Thank you, our General Evaluator, and thank you to all our speakers tonight. You have done well with regard to keeping time. For our prepared speakers, the timing is already posted in the chat. You all were within time except for one speaker. For our evaluators, you all unfortunately were not within time, just off by a few seconds. I'm sure we can get better. Our counter spent 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and our grammarian 3 minutes and 55 seconds. I have spent 35 seconds so far. I am still timing myself. Over to you, General Evaluator.
And here's your applause. Thank you for the good job. Without much further ado, I'll give my report of what happened before the meeting, during the meeting, and what maybe and on some of the things that Zumaridi can work on. Before the meeting, there was a WhatsApp group specifically for the planning and organization, where all takers gathered and communication was easily shared. I hope each and every one of us was in that group or came across that group. I, in particular, was in that group, and I noticed that as of yesterday, all the roles had been taken, all the role takers had been designated roles, and also the word of the day, which is triad, was shared early enough, that is yesterday. Also, for today's meeting, the agenda was shared on time, and also the Zoom theme, the theme that is behind me or behind TMOD was shared before time, and role takers were encouraged to use it for synchrony in the meeting. Something else that I noted was that the meeting room was open 30 minutes before the actual meeting. The meeting room was open at or around 6, while the meeting itself was slated for 6:30. And at 6:30, the meeting was called to order by a presiding officer, Nick, who took us through a short history of Zumaridi. He mentioned that it was chartered sometimes in 2020, just post or during the Corona period, and also gave an interpretation of that Zumaridi, and also mentioned that it's a corporate club of Kenya Revenue Authority. The description was enough, or it was satisfying, and he also went ahead and told us all more about Toastmasters. That was well done. Without wasting time, the presiding officer introduced the Toastmaster of the day, who happens to have been the MC of the meeting. And Toastmaster of the day, DTM Kevin, went ahead and introduced his theme. And the theme of the night, I hope you all can remember, was as easy as 1, 2, 3. And his third was enjoy excellence, and evidence, incorporating the three. It was an enlightening theme, and the role takers were introduced. We had the first segment, speeches, where the evaluators introduced the speakers. The speakers did their presentations. Then we got a tip session at the tail end of the prepared presentations. Then the evaluators were called. They did the evaluations, and I hope that the speakers have learned things to improve on and make them better speakers and better evaluators. After that, I was introduced. I am the general evaluator, and mine is evaluate the whole meeting. I've introduced my tag team, the timer, our counter, and grammarian, and they have done a splendid job of telling us how we have fared through the meeting. Just to mention something that I noted, the presiding officer could maybe, I don't know whether he still has that in mind, inviting guests and giving them an opportunity of saying hi and maybe how they got to learn about the meeting and sometimes even what they expect from the meeting. Also, in the business segment, I did not hear about the last meetings minutes for them to be adopted. Or were they shared? I did not hear that part. Those two are my key takeaways on the invitations for the new visitors, for them to share how they learned about the meeting, and maybe, if time allows, what they expect, and also for the minutes of the previous meeting. That's it for me. I've enjoyed the meeting. It has been enlightening. And now as I move on with life, I've learned about evaluations. I've learned about the 3 E's, my triad. I will enjoy, I will excel, and I will ask for evidence, or I will look for evidence in all that I do. That's it from me. And back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Thank you, Triad of General Evaluator. Actually, not a triad because we have the timer, but General Evaluator, Timer, Accounter, and Grammarian for that feedback. We shall implement it moving forward. As the curtains close on this meeting and theme, I have used those 3 E's to make it this far in Toastmasters, at least in the contest, showing that it is possible. Take on something that you enjoy, something that people constantly compliment you on, and that you actually are consistently excelling in. This not only applies in Toastmasters, but in life. And life will be a bit easier, as easy as 1, 2, 3. Mr. Presiding Officer, back to you.
Wow. Kindly let us give the TMD of the evening another round of applause. What a meeting. The transition has been seamless. We've learned a lot, a triad of lessons, professional excellence, communication growth, human growth, and the super triple E, enjoyment, excellence, and evidence. I'd also like to add that I also contributed to that award as part of the rehearsals prior to the actual contest. So if there's something, kindly please, Mr. TMD, share behind the tent. Thank you. I hope you've all enjoyed as much as I have. We also have guests in the house. I'd like to give opportunity to one of our guests who has been so consistent throughout tonight's meeting. He has kept his camera on. He has actually made it lively. Mr. James Kiteka, I would like to give you this opportunity to share a word or two with us. What you've learned in tonight's meeting, what you've liked, how you like us to make it better even in future. Over to you, Mr. James.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me.
I can. We can.
Okay, thanks. I joined a bit late, but I was fighting with time to make sure that I join early, but I could make it. But I've learned a lot. As a guest, I've seen how things are done and how people speak on prompt to speech. That was quite interesting. And of course, the lessons learned shared by somebody, I can't remember the name, but I have seen I've taken notes. And for your information, I have been, this is my fourth meeting as a guest. I'm trying and see whether I can join through the process. I would love to join very soon so that I can start growing with the rest of us. So thank you very much. I will be open to join the next meeting if possible, online meeting. Thanks everyone. And thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for that. I would like to have you as a member. Hope our VPM is taking note. There's a form that I've shared in the chat. Please fill it. Share with us your contract. We'll get back to you in due course. We would like you to be part of our Toastmasters family. This is indeed a very safe space to grow your public speaking, your leadership skills, and of course, as we've learned tonight, you also gain skills that help you beyond Toastmasters. You can even monetize. We have so many Toastmasters who have monetized their skills, so there's a lot of growth opportunities for you. So can you just take a minute or two to fill the form that I've shared in the chat, and we'll get back to you. I hope our VPM Winfred, I hope you're taking note. I also like to invite other guests, share a word or two, tell us how you heard about us, and if you like to be part of this beautiful Toastmaster journey. I see Julius Mwanzia. Julius Mwanzia, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Presiding Officer. I've missed 70% of the discussion, the speeches. I was on the road, and I'm trying to familiarize myself with the procedures and how the Toastmasters is run. Yeah, because I'm looking forward to joining the club and to improve with the name of improving my communication skills. So going forward, hopefully next time I'll keep time, and as time goes by, eventually I'll have to join the club.
Wonderful, Julius. You indeed in the right place. You want to grow your public speaking skills. Also, kindly do fill the form that has been shared in the chats. We'd like to hear more from you and also make you part of our Toastmasters family. I'd like also to tell you that if you're searching for a club, indeed, you have found the right one. This is a perfect place to grow your skills. Mr. Marvin Ogwal. Marvin Ogwal, are you with us?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Marvin Ogwal, would you like to share a word or two how you heard about the meeting, if indeed you're a Toastmaster or just a guest, and if you're interested in Toastmasters? Yes.
Well, I am a guest. Actually, this is my first time joining the Toastmasters. I saw the link on a friend's status and decided to join in. But of course, me being here means already shows my that public speaking is something that is in my interest, and I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. I hope you've learned that being a Toastmaster is indeed as easy as 1, 2, 3, just like our theme says. So I'd also like to remind you just to take a moment or two to fill the form shared in the chats, and we will get back to you as we ensure or rather support you in beginning this wonderful journey of Toastmasters. Jennifer, is Jennifer with us? Mr. John Caesar. John Caesar, are you with us? Having said that, I would also like to give an opportunity to our fellow Toastmasters. Tell us about your club, when you hold your meetings. We would also like to be part of your meetings to reciprocate the wonderful gesture. I keep hearing Toastmasters say gesture. Kindly, let's refrain. It's gesture, not gesture. Jennifer, I see your hand is up. You'd like to share a word or two?
Yeah, thank you. Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, of course. Proceed.
I'm happy to be at Zumaridi Toastmasters today. It's my first time attending your club. I would like to mention that I'm a new member at Simba Toastmasters, and when I saw your meeting, and it's been a long time since I joined an online meeting. On being a new member, I have decided to be joining as many meetings as I can so that I can learn from different members, different clubs, and also from different versions of club meetings. It's been a pleasure to be here today. I have learned a lot from most of the speakers, more so from, her name is Rose Odundo, on the importance of good evaluation. I have learned a lot, and thank you everyone for your sharing your very valuable lessons tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words, Jennifer. If you don't mind, we'll also request you to fill the form. We'd like you to also be part of our next meeting, even as a role taker. Thank you so much for taking your time to be part of our meeting this evening. Mr. Paul Maina, can you tell us what role you hold at your club and what has been your experience at Zumaridi this evening? Also share details of when you meet. We would also like to reciprocate and take part in your meeting.
Thank you for this opportunity. I, Paul Maina, I'm a member of Mombasa Executive Toastmasters. It is also a corporate club under Bamburi Cement. We meet on the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month. Our first meeting, which happens to be on the second Wednesday, is usually physical in Bamburi Cement, Mombasa. And our second meeting, which happens to be on the fourth Wednesday, and this happens to be this coming Wednesday the 27th, will be a virtual meeting. I welcome you all, and I will share more information about the meeting. And it also happens that Eric Konjohi will be the TMOD in our meeting. You're all welcome. My experience during this Zumaridi meeting has been awesome, and I look forward to attending such. Given an opportunity, I will always be there.
Thank you to Mr. Paul. I hope this is the beginning of many more meetings to come. We'll also be attending your meeting. I hope there are vacant roles. We would like to participate in your upcoming virtual meeting. I also see we have guests Andrew Kamanu. I believe this is a fellow Toastmaster. Andrew Kamanu, can you tell us about your club, how you heard about Zumaridi, and share which role you hold at your club and when you have your meetings? Mr. Andrew, over to you. Yes, Mr. Andrew is not able to speak. Is Sharon still with us? Brenda Atwine, can you tell us which role you hold at your club and when you meet? Maybe if it's possible, you'll also be able to reciprocate.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm from Kampala Sunrise, the president of the club. We meet online at 6 a.m. the first Thursday of every month, and then a physical one, which is the third Saturday of every month. You're all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I see your early birds. Hope we do have early birds at Zumaridi also to take part in one of your meetings one of these days. I'd like to give the final opportunity. Hello? Brenda, would you like to say something?
Oh yeah, you're welcome for that early morning meeting, 6 a.m.
Do share the link in good time.
I will, thanks.
Thank you. Let me take this opportunity to give Brenda Kakai. Brenda is like family at this point.
Hello, presiding officer and everyone on the call. Yes, as already mentioned, I'm like a member of the club. Thank you for having me today. I am from the Zumaridi Toastmasters Club, a member, and the VPE elect. We have a meeting tomorrow. If you can, please join us. I have posted in the chat and we'll be sharing a flyer soon. Over to you,
Thank you,
presiding officer.
Brenda. Also do share the link in our Friends of Zumaridi group. We would like to participate in that meeting. Thank you. Let's see. I would like also to give opportunity to some of our ExCom members to say a word or two as we close. We'll start with VP elect Eric Wanjol.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect, incoming Rais. I'm happy that the meeting has gone well. As Paul has said, on Wednesday, see you at Mombasa Executives, where I'll be the TMOD. We will be talking about AI. We all know about AI, but this time we'll be looking at the history. Where have we come from? And where are we heading? You can imagine the future of AI 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. I am happy to see a number of guests. I hope you are all going to join us. Thank you for choosing Toastmasters, and thank you for choosing Zumaridi. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Vana VP elect. We will be at that meeting to support you. Next, I'd like to welcome our SAA elect, Sophia Wangui. Before Sophia says a word or two, I see George Maura. George Maura would like to say a word or two. Tell us about your
Okay,
club.
good evening once again. Thank you, Mr. President-elect, for allowing me to speak. I'm from Anchor Toastmasters. We are the Club of Champions. We meet every second and fourth Friday of the month from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at St. Andrew's PCA, which is along Nyerere Road. And whenever we have 5 Fridays in a month, the last Friday is normally set for speakathon, where we only come to listen to speakers. So you're welcome for for meeting this Friday at the same venue. Back to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We'll endeavor to attend one of your meetings this coming days. And thank you for taking up the evaluation role the last minute. That was living quintessentially to the Toastmasters spirit. Next, we'd like to welcome SA-elect Sophia Wangui. For the benefit of our guests, SA means Sergeant at Arm. Over to you, or Sergeant at Arm-elect.
Thank you, President-elect Evans. Okay, I would wish to thank all the guests that have visited today and everybody who has participated in learning the meeting so well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, SA-elect, for being straight to the point and succinct. Is our VPM still in the house? VPM Winfred? So a moment or two. If not, then I'd like to give this opportunity to Gerard Kwamboka.
Yes, good evening. I think my takeaway home is they need to be consistent and continuously engaging and participating in the various clubs for a better speaker. So I really appreciate for the opportunity. It was exciting even to listen to the feedback that I was given and also to listen from the other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And indeed, you've been consistent in delivering your speeches. I hope that you continue in the same spirit, onwards and upwards. Finally, I would like to give our AD an opportunity to share a word or two with us. AD Rose, over to you.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer and incoming President, Evans Odina, and all of us. I want to thank the guests profusely for coming in today. The Toastmasters guests and the other guests, you're extremely welcome. I believe Evans will let you know that we meet on the 2nd and the 4th, Mondays, evening, 6:30 to 8:30. Sorry, today we've gone a little above time. And this is mainly online, and I believe it will also be partly physical as we move forward. We really want to say thank you so much. Thank you to TMOD for taking your time today. And every one of you, we've really been enriched with what we've had today, and we do not take it for granted. I just wanted to urge, as an area director, that we need to finish strong. I'm talking to all the clubs, Zumaridi included. We need to all finish strong. For those who can get to Smedley, that is 25 DCP points and 10 out of 10 DCP points and 25 members, it would really be good. But try to be a distinguished club. It's really been a full year. We are so grateful for all that has been done. For Zumaridi, I would kindly urge that those who have finished their levels, please update your levels so that the DCPs can read accurately. I also wanted to let everyone know that Zumaridi became a corporate open club, meaning that we can take people in who are not part of the organization. And we've already taken quite a number. So to Julius, you're very welcome. To James, you're very welcome. And any other member that we have, Marvin, you're all welcome. If you could just stay behind a little and give us your details if you've not filled the form. But if you have, I know that we'll get back to you as soon as we can. and we are really grateful to have you on board. Please, even for the other guests, bring your friends, even as you come to the next meeting. And as a presiding officer said, we will be more than happy to join your meetings, which I think we have done in a few cases, but it will be more interactive. Jeria, yes, you learn a lot by interacting with others. Please monetize what you've learned. There's a lot to be gained apart from speeches. We had this meeting of speeches in Rwanda. It was awesome. We met people from all over the continent, the region, and even the world. And we really grew a good network base. They are even planning for the next season, which will be most likely in Uganda, next year around May. So you can start putting little money together. And in August next year, it should be probably France. This year, August may be Canada. So those are the opportunities we have to grow. Let's go beyond our comfort zones. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I may be away briefly for the remaining time up to mid-June, but I'll try to be as online as I can, and I'm definitely there for support of all kinds. Please, let's continue and let's finish strong. Thank you and all the best, even as we conclude the year. Back to you, Presiding Officer Evans.
Thank you, Madam Eddie, and for those words of encouragement and motivation. Let's continue pushing to meet those DCP goals, update your pathways, and also take part in the opportunities that arise. I'd like to thank you all for being part of this evening's meeting. Your presence made it really lively. I'd also like to request Zumaridi members to remain behind for 5 minutes as we discuss club business, and also our guest, James Kitheka, Julius Monzia. As we take your details, so that we help you to kickstart this journey of Toastmasters. We forgot to give awards to the speakers. The best speaker for this evening went to our AD, Eddie Rose. Only a round of applause for our AD. Best evaluator went to Brenda Atwine. Brenda's still with us. Only a round of applause to Brenda for that very, very impactful and positive evaluation. The awards in form of a certificate will be shared in our group shortly, in the WhatsApp group, so be on the lookout. To the rest, thank you for having been part of this wonderful meeting. Do have a good night. See you on the next one. We'll be having our next meeting on the 8th of June, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. You cannot afford to miss that one. It will be another mind-boggling, like a blast, a movie. So be on the lookout because the theme is interesting. I'm not going to say it now, just want the excitement to keep building. Do have a good night. And the meeting has been adjourned.